that's something that depends on the case and it depends on the attorney. Starting with the attorney, you need to find the best DUI drunk driving lawyer that you can, who is going to give you the best chance to, first and foremost, try and win your case and make all the charges go away with court and hopefully win the DMV hearing and avoid any license suspension or points or anything like that, a criminal record. But getting the best attorney that you can is critical. That means finding someone who is very experienced, who does nothing but or mainly DUI defense, someone who's a member of the national and California DUI organizations, someone who teaches other attorneys how to do DUI defense, and someone who everyone calls when they or their friends get a DUI. Find someone experienced, there are a handful of us in the San Francisco Bay Area who've been doing this for a long time. There are very few who do just DUI defense like I do. But when you combine that with over 30 years of experience, hiring someone like me is usually a very good choice, because that's going to increase your odds of winning the case, or if we can't, getting the charges reduced to a wet reckless, and at least giving you some options. Now, in order to get a charge reduced, we look at many different things. If we're talking about an alcohol case, it'll depend on which county in the San Francisco Bay Area you were arrested in, where your case is taking place. And every county has different guidelines that their DA's offices go by. And it's important to have someone who's familiar with that county, who knows, what type of defenses work, what these DA's offices want to see. In some counties, they want to see a lot of self-help meetings. In others, they want to see someone who has a real low alcohol level. In fact, that's one thing that in most Bay Area counties you've got to start with to be able to get a wet reckless. But other things, like maybe the probable cause to pull you over, the reasons why the officers pulled you over, maybe that's a little shaky. Now, that's something where we can go after that in a hearing and try and full-blown win the criminal case and potentially the DMV case, instead of just trying to get the charge reduced to a wet reckless. But if there is, any information in a report or with the machines that were used to test your breath or your blood, or things in the video that show lack of credibility on the cops, or what they're saying in the police report versus how you actually did on standardized field sobriety tests, like walking the line, or the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, where you're following their finger or pen, or on the one-leg stand, or the Romberg balance test, where your head's back and your eyes are closed and you're estimating 30 seconds. Any issues with any of that testing that makes it look like you did well, or should I say a lot better than the cops reported it in the actual police report? An attorney who understands these tests and how they are given and interpreted, which means having an attorney who has gone through the same course that CHP takes to understand how to give and how to interpret these tests and what their scoring system is all about. Finding that kind of a lawyer who understands all this stuff is really important to, one, try and get your case dismissed, and two, to try and get the DA on these cases, especially borderline cases, to be able to point out all these issues with the case against us, against you, and to convince the DA that maybe this isn't the case that they can win at trial. They like to win at trial. The district attorney's office, they want to see something as high over a 0.08 alcohol level as possible. They want to see horrible field sobriety tests, because what they don't like is issues with their breath testing where there's reasonable doubt on a 0.08 charge, the per se charge, and definitely where someone looks pretty good on field sobriety tests, and especially if we have recordings of those, because jurors use their eyes and they're looking at, they want to decide if someone looks impaired or not. And you know what? If you do pretty well on those tests and we have a recording, we got a much better chance of putting reasonable doubt in the minds of jurors, which means the DA does not win the case. And that's something that they don't want to go back to their supervisors and say, hey, I lost a DUI trial. So there are many different ways and angles and things we can do to try and get charges reduced. I haven't gone over all of them here. What I would recommend is anybody who has any questions about this, please feel free to reach out, contact me, contact my office, and we do a free consultation. We talk about DUIs, wet recklesses, jury trials, all of this, all DUI issues, questions for court, for DMV, all day, every day. That's what we do. We're here to help, and feel free to reach out.